Once a year, the best personal watercraft racers in the world gather at Lake Havasu City, Arizona for the World Championships in jet sports racing. It's a tradition that began back in the early 80s, attended almost exclusively by a tight-knit group of competitors with their family and friends. Things have changed since then, as today over 30,000 spectators are on hand to watch 750 competitors from 21 different countries battle for the World Championship crown. Stay with us as the most prestigious event in jet sports racing returns to Lake Havasu City, the Scat Track World Finals on ESPN. Welcome to Lake Havasu City, Arizona, and the 13th running of the Scat Track World Finals, presented by Performance Jet Ski. Today's event, the World Championships in Personal Watercraft Racing. Hello, I'm David Stanfield. Joining me on today's telecast, two-time overall world champion, Larry Rippenkroger. Larry, tell me about the importance of this event today.
Well, it doesn't get any more important than this. No matter how experienced you are, you've got butterflies today. The World Championship is decided after 3 events, the slalom and 2 divisions of closed course race, and whoever is the most consistent is the world champion.
This is an international event. In fact, 750 competitors have come here from all over the world. 100 competitors are international, and that's quite impressive.
It really is, and they've all had to earn their way here, and probably for the first time in the history of the sport, the Europeans are a serious threat to win the World Championship.
Now, we have competitors from 21 different countries, but the one country that poses a threat against USA's dominance in this sport is France.
Karine Petrel for the first one. Last year looked very impressive in the pro women's class. She's back again this year with another year of experience under her belt.
Then there's 7-time European champion, 4-time French champion, young Nicolas Rios.
Nicolas looked incredible earlier today, and actually, you look at the points now from the earlier heats, he is poised to take a world championship away from the Americans if they're not careful.
A crowd of 20,000 on hand to watch this, the World Championships. Perfect conditions for racing. Let's check in with the third member of our team, Todd Harris. Todd?
Thanks, guys. Once again, Lake Havasu has been kind to us. A beautiful day for racing here. The World Finals. Overcast skies, air temperature around 85 degrees, but the sun's not out, so that'll be nice for both the racers and the fans. The water temperature around the low 70s. So once again, a beautiful place to have the World Finals. Back to you guys.
Thank you, Todd. On the line, pro runabout, closed course race number 2, and let's take a look at the course before they get underway, Larry.
Well, the race course here at Lake Havasu, always a challenging one. This year, no exception. A long start straightaway out into a left-hand turn, but it is a decreasing radius. As the riders go into that turn, they're going to have to use some throttle control to hang tight with the buoys. Then we go into the first right-hand turn of the course. It's a double yellow, a sweeper section, then a sharp left, then a chicane, another left over the first log jump leading into the front straightaway. Then we go into the challenging section of the race course. It's a split. The riders have the option of going to the left or to the right, and there's log jumps leading into either way. Now, it is varied from class to class, but from what I have seen, the majority of the classes have chosen the left-hand side as their preferred option, but you can go either way. From there, we go into the traditional Lake Havasu back straightaway, extremely long, very fast. And one note, the runabouts will not be going over the log jumps. They will go around them, but they will be going 15 laps.
Number 14. Couple of hot riders to look for. Boat number 26, John Stevens, our national champion. 113, Jamie Keys, the young lady out of Florida, very good. On pole position, boat number 6, that is Robert Magpock. And obviously, we got to watch out for our defending world champion, Beau Dupriest, boat number 1. But it is John Stevens that has the points lead after the slalom and the first race. And they are off, but it is a false start, and somebody jumped the gun.
Well, it looked like Beau Dupriest had got a great jump off the line, but it may have been just a shade early. It's a real fine line between trying to anticipate the start and actually jumping the start. If the front of your craft breaks the plane of that rubber band before it snaps, you are penalized, and it's a costly one. You lose your holders. You have to start with a dead engine. Your hand on your helmet. You're not allowed to touch the starter until the rubber band snaps.
Let's take a look. Beau Dupriest, 3 from the bottom, 3 from pole position, and with a good jump, but it's a costly one, like you said. He is going to be penalized.
Here's another angle. Beau will be on the far end. You can see him moving early there, just a shade early. He missed it by a half a second there. Would have been a great start for him. It was a gamble, but this time it did not pay off.
Here we go, second attempt. Pro runabout, race number 2 underway. John Stevens with a good start. And on the inside, it looks like Robert Magpok.
Boy, Magpok hooked up down that front straightaway. He actually got up behind Stevens, but something worked right, whether he had the horsepower or just kept the pump of the water better. I don't know what, but boy, he rocketed off that line.
A good showing right now for Robert Magpok, who last year was in the amateur runabout class and was 6th overall here at Havasu, and this year looking very strong.
Out in front is where you want to be, especially on this first lap. You can take advantage of the semi-smooth conditions. From here on out, it gets extremely rough. Stevens dropped back now. He got off the line early, but he's sitting in about 4th place right now.
And there's Tim McKercher, boat number 118Y out of Florida, takes a tight inside line and looked like he jumped that buoy. Still ahead of John Stevens. And there is our leader, boat number 6Y out of West Covina, California, Robert Magpok. And for the 1993 season, it was his first year as a pro. He finished 5th overall on the National Tour. His best finish ever, though, in racing was 2nd overall. But for today, a good start puts you out front.
Well, actually, it was Stevens that come up the line first. Magpok closest to us. Watch this. Boy, he is hooking up. He blows by Stevens. In fact, there's another Sea-Doo McKercher on the far side. He also goes by Stevens. They have brought some horsepower here to Lake Havasu.
Great top end on Robert Magpok's 1989 770 Sea-Doo, and he leads this race. The 30-year-old out of West Covina, California, again ranked 5th in the 1993 season, and just about spins out.
Well, I think what you're going to see as the conditions get rougher, horsepower can actually work against you. It takes a lot more than just raw horsepower to win this one.
Let's take a look at the top 4. Magpok, Ludwig, McKercher, and Stevens. And as we speak, McKercher is being penalized a lap, so John Stevens automatically moves into 3rd spot, but McKercher is not going to be happy about this. He's going to be dropped down 1 lap for jumping over a buoy.
Well, you mentioned it earlier, Dave. It was a close call on that first lap. McKercher riding very aggressively. And the rule is you have to go completely around the buoy. There it is. He goes over the top of it. Even though it pops up on the correct side, he did not go completely around it, so that is considered a missed buoy. He was down 1 lap.
A tough break for Tim McKercher, the 24-year-old out of Melbourne, Florida. Let's take a look at the top 5 right now. We have Robert Magpok leading, in 2nd, Jojo Ludwig. But make note, Beau Dupree's from a penalized start is in 5th spot right now. Jojo Ludwig, though, out of Wisconsin in 2nd, and he's putting in a fine ride as well.
He is, but it looks like he's struggling there, Dave. He kind of bogged down in that turn. Took him a while to get the speed back up. I'm not sure if he's beginning to have motor troubles or what. It seems to be running fine down this back straightaway, but coming into that turn, it seemed to be lagging.
Well, John Stevens, the defending national champion, going after a world title right now, bearing down on Jojo Ludwig. And can you imagine if your boat is acting up the pressure that Jojo Ludwig is feeling right now with John Stevens on his tail?
Well, it'll certainly get your adrenaline flowing. You're out there in front of a champion. Your motor's starting to go sour. You want to baby it yet. You got to keep the pace up in order to keep them from getting around you. As we have seen on the National Tour, attrition in the runabout class is probably the biggest factor. They can't build these motors quite as radical as the stand-ups. They've got to keep them together. Consistency is going to be the key.
And nobody knows that fact better than our national champion, John Stevens.
It's going to be so much inconsistency. Everybody's been having mechanical tidbit failures here and there. So I got to be consistent, just put down some good finishes, but I don't know if speed's going to win. It's going to be consistency.
John Stevens, 28 years old, out of Orlando, Florida. Our national champion is consistent, consistently fast. He's currently running the 3rd, and with a break in the action, let's take a look at highlights of this morning's Pro Runabout race number 1 and slalom competition. To win the Pro Runabout World Championship, you've got to be good in closed course racing and in slalom competition. And earlier this morning, it got underway in the Pro Runabout class on a great course.
And the key in slalom is precision. You go down through the zigzag course, around a turnaround buoy, back through, breaking the timing light, and often just 1/100th of a second will separate the winners.
A big surprise this morning, Brad Lockhart out of Ontario, Canada, 20 years old. First time to the World Finals, and he was riding this monster machine, the Sea-Doo GTX 670, and it's a 3-seater.
Yes, that's right. This thing is designed for 3 people. It shocked everybody on the beach, including John Stevens. But John is a slalom world record holder, and if anybody could beat Brad's time, it was going to be John Stevens.
John went out on the course, and he was thinking 21.23 and turned in an amazing time of 21.23, an exact tie for the fastest time of the day. The tiebreaker, though, was their other run, and Brad Lockhart turned in a 21.24. He won and told us why he picked the big machine, the GTX.
We started riding GTs and noticed that they handle real good in rough water. And when we got on smooth water, they work just as well, because I think it's the length and some handling things that Dale Branks, my handling guy, he does on the bottom of the boat. It just makes it hook up, and it's so long, it's stable, you can hold the gas right on.
The 93 Canadian national champion comes to Lake Havasu and wins the Pro Runabout Slalom title. Congratulations to Brad Lockhart. Now let's take a look at highlights. Pro Runabout race number 1, and it was very tight. That first turn had a cluster of 4 riders, but coming out in first was Robert Magpock to take the lead.
Well, a lot of different setups tried here at Havasu to win the championship. I'd have to say Robert Magpock had the best setup going thus far. Big hole shot in race number 1, John Stevens in pursuit. And if anybody wants to tell you runabouts are out for a Sunday cruise, take a look at this. Whoa!
And for Brad Lockhart, our slalom champion, well, his hopes for a world title were dashed. He ended up only picking up 8 points in race number 1. The big news, though, Robert Magpock, the leader, for 11 laps, decided to go to the outside of the course, and on the inside line goes John Stevens.
Well, Magpock with a comfortable lead. He had preferred the left-hand side of the split all race long. For whatever reason, he chose the right. Then he went in and made a mistake, a little spin out there, and that was all it took. Stevens gobbled up that lead. Went by Magpock going into the back straightaway. Magpock had the drive on the outside, but Stevens had too much of a lead. That was the big change.
And when John Stevens saw the checkered flag, he picked up a cool 20 points. Add that to 17 points in the slalom, and he knows there's a big target on his back.
Yeah, but it also puts a lot of pressure on me. The target on my back is huge, and all I can hope is that everything holds up. The Kawasaki PJS will just stay with me, and we'll push it as hard as we can.
The man to beat, John Stevens, after winning Pro Runabout race number 1, congratulates Robert Magpock. And with 37 points, he is the man to beat going after the title. Back to the action, John Stevens in third, trying to chase down Jojo Ludwig, and this is a good race.
In fact, I'd have to say that Ludwig is indeed having engine problems or some kind of mechanical problems. The pace has dropped down somewhat, and Stevens is all over him.
He slows down in the turn, speeds up in the straightaways. Here comes John Stevens taking a lot tighter line. Down the front straightaway they go.
Stevens now swinging wide, trying to get the drive. He's going to set him up, trying to go to the inside of him. They both choose the left-hand side of the split. Now Stevens is going to try and get underneath him in each one of these turns.
There goes John going wide, avoiding the wake, and John looks down. He slows down.
Something is wrong. It looks like an engine seizure. He does not come to a complete stop. Things have cooled down. He's got it freed up. But what a break for Ludwig. That's going to give him a little breathing room.
A couple other riders passed John Stevens. Those were lappers. John maintains in third spot, but he drops back considerably. One more turn. He's on the straightaway. Let's see what kind of speed he can pull. Looks like his boat's back to normal.
Well, it looks like it's getting pretty good top end, accelerating, but look a little sluggish coming out of the turn. I'd have to guess that John did seize that thing. I've had that happen. Let's take a look here at the replay. Comes out of the turn, he's slowing, he looks down. And take a look at his left thumb. He's pushing on that starter button. That's an indication right there. He's cranking the engine, trying to get it to refire. I think he did stick it. And often if you let it sit there for a couple of seconds, they'll cool down, they'll free up. Sometimes they won't lose any horsepower. Sometimes they'll even run better. They loosen them up a bit.
And our fifth-year pro, John Stevens, down the front straightaway at speed, and the crowd watching, trying to figure out what happened. Our leader is still Robert Magpock, followed by Jojo Ludwig. John Stevens, they make the top 3. Stevens holding on to that third spot, still in the hunt for the World Championship.
Robert Magpock having a great day, though. A little bobble in that first race we saw earlier. Dropped him back to second, but right now he is looking strong in race number 2.
Once again, Robert Magpock picked up 13 points in the slalom and was second in runabout race number 1. He is our leader. There's Jojo Ludwig around the course, keeping an eye, looking back for John Stevens.
And I still think Ludwig's engine's a bit sour, too. He just doesn't seem to be going as fast as he was earlier in the race. In fact, oh, no, I think he just broke, Dave.
Tough luck for the Wisconsin native, Jojo Ludwig. Down in the water, running in second, and now obviously he's dropped to third, fourth. We'll see what happens to him if he can restart, but John Stevens has now moved into second.
And Ludwig, he's got that thing fired again, but it's not running real sweet at this point. I think he seized his engine. It's still pretty tight. I don't know if he's going to be able to get it going. Oh, there. It freed back up. He's back in the race, Dave.
These runabouts are so durable and back in action, but he's dropped a couple places, moving into third. That is Rusty Guecki out of Duarte, California, inheriting third. And quite a show these guys are putting on for our 20,000 race fans. Lots of enthusiasts here. In fact, we've got some special guests. One of them is standing by with our own Todd Harris. Todd?
Thanks, guys. Well, I'm with another race enthusiast, Al Unser, of a different kind of racing. What brings you out here to this event?
Well, to watch all this water racing, it's neat. It's very, makes me kind of bouncy, you know, like to, you know, try it. I love water, and I have my own water machine, so here I am.
Talk about the racing you see out here and compare it to what you do. Similarities?
Well, yes, it is. And any type of racing doesn't make any difference. It takes all year to get here for this, and you plan on the finals, and just like we plan on Indianapolis. Yes, it is. It's just as hard. Doesn't make any difference what type of competitors you're in. It's all hard. So time you get here, you hope to have everything in place so you can walk away with the #1 trophy.
All right, Victor Sheldon, you better watch out. Al Unser may be on the tour next year. Back to you guys.
Thank you, Todd. Back to the action of the final lap. There is Robert Magpock, our leader out of West Covina, California, 30 years old, boat number 6Y. In second, John Stevens, 28 years old, out of Orlando, Florida, boat number 26Y. In third spot, Rusty Guecki. And in fourth, what a great ride for Bodu Priest. And a lap down, that is Jamie Keys.
Tough break for Jamie Keys. She has had some strong showings on the national tour, but today does not look like it's going to be a good day for her.
A great performance by Robert Magpock this weekend. A lot of pressure on him right now. He has the pressure of John Stevens right behind him. Magpock, boat number 6, will win this battle, it looks like, but he won't win the war.
And a lot of pressure on the mechanics, too. Just less than a half a lap to go. And, you know, it's one thing to build in excess of 100 horsepower in this thing, but it's also another thing to build that kind of horsepower and have them stay together for 15 laps.
Endurance is a key. And the checkered flag is coming out. Winning pro runabout race number 2, Robert Magpock, and he's going to have a total of 50 points. Meanwhile, John Stevens, a second place finish, 17 points, a tally of 54 points overall, and the World Championships. But right now, all eyes are looking at Robert Magpock. A fantastic weekend of close course racing.
Great ride by Robert. It looks like he's expended every bit of energy that he had. He can barely stand right now. They're being congratulated by his crew. Let's take a look at a key factor in the race, the start. Stevens in the middle of the pack there, off to a great jump, but look at Magpock, closest to us. He had the combination working this weekend. He went by Stevens on the start and was able to hold him off for the rest of the race.
Let's take a look at the top 5. Robert Magpock on the Watercraft Magic Sea-Doo wins. He's standing by with Todd Harris. Todd?
Robert, huge win for you. You were there right in the first one as well as this one. What was the key? You knew John was coming up again?
Yeah, I knew he was coming up, but I just tried to ride a smooth race, and I knew he was at third place, and I guess the second place guy broke down, and when he was catching up, I just pushed it a little bit more, and I think I got a second win, and just try to do it smooth. That's it.
Okay, guys like you and John and Jeff Prier kind of proving that this isn't a sport just for the young guys. Guys older in age can stay out here. You can be back again next year.
Well, definitely. I mean, I'm 30 years old, and I'm going to be back, and I'm going to give it my best shot next year again.
All right, man. Good luck. Congratulations. Thanks.
For John Stevens, our 1993 national champion, consistency paid off again. His PJS Kawasaki 750Xi has carried him to the Pro Runabout World Championship. He's standing by with Todd Harris.
Thanks, guys. I'm with the first professional modified runabout champion, John Stevens. John, you dominated all year, but today it really came down to the last race, and you had just enough to get by.
Yeah, it was a wire-to-wire race. I mean, reliability was going to win it. It was tough to do, and I got lucky, pulled it off. The equipment held up. Can't say enough about it.
Now, Robert Magpock really gave you a chase there, really pushed it to the end. He actually won the second race, but you had just enough points. Tremendous race from him as well.
First race, I knew I had to put the pressure on Robert. Got by him, took a little pressure off. Second race, he had a good run. It was like, rather than kill the equipment, kill the boat, just finish where I am, be the world champion.
All right, John Stevens, our champion in the modified runabout. Back to you guys.
Thank you, Todd. Pro Ski race number 2 coming up shortly. Right now, let's take a look back at women's competition, which was held earlier today. This year's women's competition was the most exciting ever. For the U.S. women, it would come down to a battle between Christy Carlson and Havasu hometown favorite Tara Lejo. For everyone, the international competition had special significance.
All the best riders are here from around the world, but it also proves how you sit around the world compared to all the international riders, and if you do really well, it can really boost your confidence.
It's very exciting because it's people from everywhere from France and Japan, and it's a big thing where everybody gets together and just has a lot of fun, actually.
It's going to make good racing. No matter what happens, who wins, it's going to be a good show.
It's all on the line here in Havasu. It's a one-shot deal for a world title. That's a big title.
This morning's racing began with the slalom competition. Carlsbad, California's Jill Orton captured 4th place with a smooth run and a time of 24.70.
Karine Petrel, the French star, showed off her expertise and was awarded 3rd place in the process, finishing with a time of 24.30.
And newly crowned 1993 national champion Christy Carlson vaulted herself into the lead with a nearly flawless performance, issuing the challenge to arch rival Tara Lejo with a time of 24.01.
But Lejo, racing in front of hometown supporters, was equal to the challenge, in fact more than equal. The number 2 finisher for the 93 U.S. title let everyone know in no uncertain terms that she intended to finish number 1 today.
So, for the first step on the way to the overall world championship, the slalom competition, Tara Lejo was a step ahead of the field, with Christy Carlson and Karine Petrel on her heels. The closed course competition and a shot for all the marbles. A must-win for Lejo and no tomorrow for Carlson. This all-out test of speed and endurance would be the deciding factor for the title. Off the line, it was Carlson just ahead of Lejo on the inside.
Carlson drew ahead of Lejo and secured the whole shot around the first outside buoy, with Michelle Baines just a nose behind her and further back Tara Lejo. Suddenly, disaster struck. Carlson edged out Baines. Baines went down in front of Lejo, who was forced to avoid running over Michelle by swerving to the outside of her. In the blink of an eye, Christy Carlson was off and running with the lead, and a frustrated Tara Lejo found herself suddenly back in 4th place.
But Tara, the terrorizer, battled back and moved her way up into 2nd spot, chasing Christy.
Christy was building up an almost insurmountable lead when disaster struck down the back straightaway. She lost her ski. Tara Lejo, coming into the back straightaway, could not believe her eyes. Christy was down in the water. The safety official did what he was supposed to do. He got Christy back to her ski, but Tara, meanwhile, out in front, was pulling away.
And Christy Carlson, having regained her runaway boat, was back up and riding again, having lost only 1 position in spite of her mishap. But that 1 position had been the lead, and now her arch rival had possession of it. But Christy was battling back herself.
France's Karine Petrel had a firm hold on 3rd place, almost unnoticed behind the Lejo-Carlson battle. And Jill Orton had moved herself into 4th position ahead of Tina Martinez. But at the end of the 12-lap closed course final event, Lake Havasu's own Tara Lejo had hung on for the victory.
And a chagrined Christy Carlson still showed her true sportsmanship despite the heartbreaking loss.
It was a little brutal, really rough race. Christy was on me the whole time. I lost my goggles. I couldn't turn in back to see where she was, but it all worked out for the best.
Closed course final results. Tara Lejo, at the right place at the right time, was able to capitalize on Christy Carlson's misfortune and claim the title 1993 Women's World Champion. Congratulations to Tara Lejo.
Who do I put my cash on this year to win it all?
Yeah, the national title this season is really tough. There's a lot of rookies up and coming. Everybody's got fast equipment that's really, really close. I think the most consistent rider, the fastest rider, and maybe even the coolest rider is going to win this tour. So we're just going to have to put all those combinations together and see in Daytona who's just going to pull this upset off.
you have the attitude, and if so, what is it?
Yeah, I have the attitude. I think the biggest attitude you need is those guys are not unbeatable. They can be beat, and they will be beat.
By?
Me.
How's it going to look out there today? Who's gonna win?
Well, okay, I'm going to tell you the truth here.
I want an honest question.
Right.
Forget about those other guys, and they're not even going to see this tape.
Okay, well, how about you win the first one, and I'll get second, and then I'll win the second one because it's TV, and you can get second in the second one. That's fair. How about?
I'm not racing in the first one, though.
You're not?
No.
You didn't race the first one? Really?
No.
Oh, you're kidding?
No, I'm in the second one only.
Oh.
So it's just going to be you and I in the main.
Oh, well, let's see. Oh, so I win. Bummer. You never know. Racing. It's this season. I wouldn't even know how to describe this season. Sort of a
I don't know.
Topsy-turvy, up and down. I like to think of it as Michael Andretti Formula One season, where the #1 guys or the top riders went over to another planet there and didn't quite comprehend the structure of the way things were running, and therefore didn't do as well as they possibly could have. I think we'll see at the World Finals against the world's best. Who will be the world champion? I don't really know.
We don't know.
We don't know, but we'll all be striving to...
It'll be a good day.
It will be a good day. It will be a good day, and hopefully not a dark day.
No. Maybe next year.
Welcome back to Lake Havasu City, Arizona for the 13th annual Scat Track World Finals, presented by Performance Jet Ski. Today, the World Championships in Personal Watercraft Racing. And right now, we're going to take a look at highlights of freestyle. In freestyle, competitors have 2-minute routines, and the judging criteria by 7 judges, they look for difficulty, precision, and variety. 10 points are the most you can receive from a single judge. High and low scores are discarded, thus a perfect score is 50 points. Coming in 5th place in this World Championship, David Gordon, 28 years old, out of Las Vegas, Nevada, the 5-time World Freestyle Champion of years past.
David retired for a few years. He's a full-time police officer now with the Las Vegas Police Department, back in competition. That right there is one of the most difficult moves you can do on a stand-up ski. I have tried it over and over, and I can't do it.
David the Flash Gordon, 46 points. Coming in 4th, Rick Roy, also known as the Rad Roy, out of Montreal, Quebec, Canada. The 24-year-old Canadian professional freestyle champion was quite impressive.
Innovative as well. A lot of moves he came up with himself. This one here, in fact, called the Rad Handstand Submarine. He invented it and named after himself. Interesting sideline profession for him as well. He's a fireman in the off-season.
The Canadian Rick Roy, 47 points and a 4th place finish. Coming in 3rd place today was Lloyd Berlew, also known as Showtime, 31 years old, out of Indian, Florida, the 3rd-year pro.
Lloyd obviously had put a lot of time into his routine for this one. Put on a great show for everybody, almost flawless in his execution, and radical, very aggressive. That's his style. He gets into it, he gets the crowd going. This submarine here was one of the better ones of the day.
The 1990 World Finals freestyle champion in the amateur class turns in a score of 47.7 points. Second place went to my colleague, Larry Rippenkroger, out of Sacramento, California. 2-time overall world champion, 2-time freestyle world champion. Larry, quite a good routine.
Well, you know, there's been years here at Havasu where it's just been a disaster. I haven't been able to do anything right. Today, everything seemed to click, and a lot of it had to do with just the opening part of my routine. You know, you click off a couple of good moves, your confidence is up, the crowd's cheering, and it makes it a lot easier from that point on.
Well, the crowd was behind you 100%. A lot of great moves, good variety. Like this one, riding 2 skis at once.
You know, that's half the battle, is trying to figure out what is going to impress the judges. What are they looking for on that given day? I felt like I gave him everything that I possibly could today.
A second place finish, 47.9 points. Then we saw Jeff Kantz with the aid of a boat turning up some big wakes. He pulled off the incredible barrel roll. Take a look.
This is a hot move. Surprised everybody. In fact, when the boat started coming through the course, we were all going, oh boy, is this guy going to be in trouble? What is he doing out there? It was a planned part of Jeff's routine and a big surprise for all of us on the beach.
Jeff had a great routine. In fact, his winning ways started 2 years ago. He's the two-time Pro Freestyle National Series champion and the defending world champion, and he came into this event with his guns firing.
Jeff pulled out all the stops, the big surprise there with the boat, and then he went on climbing all over the skis. We've seen him do before, above it, below it, on the side of it, wherever he wanted to go, he was all over it.
Total points for Jeff Kantz, 48.6 out of a possible 50. Top 5 finishers in the Pro Freestyle World Championship: Jeff Kantz, Larry Rippenkroger, Lloyd Berlew, Eric Roy, and David Gordon. Once again, congratulations to Jeff Kantz in this spectacular barrel roll. The crowd is on their feet and ready to go racing. Coming up shortly, the Pro Ski World Championships, close course race number 2. Fischetti's ready to go after the world title. Welcome back to Lake Havasu City, Arizona, and the 13th annual Scat Track World Finals presented by Performance Jet Ski. David Stanfield with Larry Rippenkroger. We're set to go racing. Pro Ski modified racing, and this should be good.
It will be good. We've got Bill Pointer with a 1-point lead in the overall standings right now, but the Frenchman, Nicholas Rios, hot on his heels in second place. And Rios has proven to be a little bit stronger in close course racing. He may be a favorite to win this thing overall, but anything can happen, as it often does here at Lake Havasu.
And there's 2 other guys you can't count out. They're still in the points battle. They're in the high 20s, 26 and 28 points for Chris Fischetti and Victor Sheldon.
That's right. Anything can happen. A simple brain fade on either of the 2 leaders in the points, a mechanical problem, whatever, and we may have a new world champion.
The Pro Ski World Championships on the line right now. The deciding race, close course race number 2, Nicholas Rios on the yellow ski. What a great hole shot.
Great jump, but look at Fischetti go by him. Boy, talk about some top end. Pop Fischetti has got that thing screaming today.
There is Chris Fischetti out of Lake Havasu City, Arizona, the 25-year-old leading boat number 4. And then the Frenchman, Nicholas Rios, is in second on the yellow boat, boat number 1F, and hounding him is the Australian Todd Ross.
And Ross bumping Rios there in that turn. This has truly turned into an international battle. Fischetti is wanting to win it for the Americans. We've got the Frenchman in second and the Australian in third.
Here's Chris Fischetti aboard the Mariner. Good times, Thailand Racing Kawasaki 750 over the log jump. Followed by the Frenchman, Nicholas Rios. And again, we're having a little trouble with log jumps. There's not a lot of those log jumps in the European racing contingent.
That's right. Over on the European circuit, very rarely do they use the log jump, so this is all new to Rios.
Back to our leader with the fin on his back. The shark is out front. They call him the fish, the flying fish, Chris Fischetti, followed by Nicholas Rios, is really making some nice turns.
And you may remember last year here at Lake Havasu, Fischetti and Rios were slamming into each other. They were having words in the pits. This is going to be like a grudge match between these 2. Now look at Jacobs at the top of the screen. He's going to get by Todd Ross for 3rd place. Jacobs now into 3rd.
Todd Ross drops to 4th, Jacobs in 3rd, and now moving up on Nicholas Rios. Rios with the yellow ski, there he is. He's got to try to chase down Chris Fischetti. Fischetti holding his lead, and coming on strong is Jeff Jacobs, the man that has won 5 World Pro Championships. 22 years old out of San Diego, California.
And And Dave, did you see that Jacobs missed the log jump? I don't know if the officials saw it. He caught an edge. He decided to go to the right, and I don't know why, but he decided not to go over the log jump. If the officials caught that, he's going to be down the lap.
Let's take a look at the start. It was a great hole shot at the beginning with Nicholas Rios.
He did get a great jump up the line, but watch to his right, Chris Fischetti. Look at the top end speed he's got here. That thing kicks into overdrive, and he blows by Rios. It looks like he's got 3, 4, 5 mile an hour on everybody.
Now let's take a look at the mishap. This could cost Jeff Jacobs a win here. Yes, he does miss the log jump, and officials have penalized him 1 lap down, so he's really out of contention unless he puts on a superior effort.
You got to wonder, you know, in the first race, Jeff had mechanical problems. Maybe he figured it was worth the risk. In this one here, he didn't have a whole lot to lose, so he went for it.
Out in front, Chris Fischetti, boat number 4, the 25-year-old, now has moved out of El Cajon, California, lives in Lake Havasu City. 3rd overall on the national tour with 3 wins. And he takes the inside line. The 25-year-old grew up in Redondo Beach, California. He's been riding for 11 years. He turned pro 8 years ago. Chris Fischetti knows what it's like to win here at Havasu. In fact, he captured the overall world title in 1991, and he is riding with the same determination today. And with this big lead, let's take a moment to see how he and the other pros fared in the Pro Ski Slalom event earlier this morning and the closed course pro race number 1. When the big guns took to the line for the slalom competition earlier this morning, the unknown entity was Nicholas Rios. The 19-year-old out of Marseille, France, does not practice slalom competition officially in Europe. Aboard his Jersey's Kawasaki 750, he turned in 2 great runs, especially this one, a 22.51.
And as he mentioned, Dave, that what makes it all the more impressive is the fact that Nicholas does not even compete in the slalom event over on the European circuit.
He posted the fastest time, the time to beat.
And another impressive fact is that it wasn't ideal conditions for slalom. There was actually a bit of wind chop on the lake.
Then came Bill Pointer, 20 years old, out of Laguna Niguel, California, riding the West Coast Performance Kawasaki 750, the 1993 slalom champion and the world record holder of 20.98, had those rough conditions but turned in a flawless run. A run of 22.11, very satisfied with his second run.
My first run was a 22.60. It was good enough for second. And then my second run, everything just clicked perfect. And I came home with a 22.11, and Jeff Jacobs couldn't beat it. So I was really happy.
Slalom results, the top 5, Bill Pointer, Nicholas Rios, Todd Ross, Jason Schultz, and Harry Gocher. Now in 9th place was Chris Fischetti, and 8th was Victor Sheldon, and for Jeff Jacobs, a 7th place finish, and his day was not going to get any better.
Well, sometimes when your day starts off bad like that, it can be the fuel that fires a world championship ride, or it can actually frustrate you and cause you to make mistakes. Unfortunately for Jeff, that's exactly what happened. A false start on the restart, dead engine, no holder, a dead last start. The beginning of a disastrous day for Jeff.
With the hole shot, Jason Schultz, 21 years old, out of Plano, Texas, the Iceman, boat number 7, with a couple of good moves in the first turn. But then, out of nowhere, came the man on the mission, Chris Fischetti.
Fischetti wasted no time. This is on the first lap as they come back around that back straightaway. Jacobs, his bad luck continued, and exhaust leak. He threw off the hood and tried to continue with nothing to lose.
On lap 11, the battle began. The battle between Victor Sheldon and Nicholas Rios.
Both of these riders, the respective national champions from their countries, they fought it out hammer and tong. Rios went down, Sheldon moved into second, but it wasn't over yet.
The only consistent riding was out front, Chris Fischetti. He led basically all the way to the checkered flag. The big battle was for second. Nicholas Rios at this point was in the lead, but this is the last lap he goes down. Victor Sheldon moved in to capture second spot. But it was Chris Fischetti, the big winner in Pro Ski race number 1.
Not so good in slalom? Who cares? Slalom, you're racing by yourself against the clock. That's no fun. Let's get out on the track and do some battling.
Is it all about overall for you this year?
Yeah, my slalom's really gonna hurt me. I'm just charging. I got one more mod to do. My body's got it, the boat's got it. America will have it. We're gonna go from there.
After the slalom and the first pro race number 1, the leaders, Bill Pointer, 33 points. In second, Nicholas Rios, 32, Fischetti with 28, Sheldon with 26, and Todd Ross with 18. Now back to the action. Chris Fischetti, the 25-year-old out of Lake Havasu City, Arizona, waving the American flag, leading this race. He might not have a shot at the World Championship because in second is Nicholas Rios. Rios needs a second. If he drops to third, Chris Fischetti could theoretically win the world title, but it's out of his hands right now. Fischetti just has to win this.
And Rios having trouble with that log jump again. You can see the brown spot underneath the nose on his ski. That's from damage from an earlier race. And look at this, Fischetti has chosen the right-hand side of the split, Rios on the left, and Fischetti has traffic in front of him. I'm not sure if that was a good move, Dave.
Fischetti going on the right-hand side of the course where it splits up. Rios on the inside. Now Rios can see where Fischetti is and has plenty of incentive. Rios in second at this point, makes the turn onto the straightaway. Fischetti's coming up. Fischetti's got speed, and it is a drag race down the back straightaway. Fischetti on the outside, Rios on the inside.
Listen to the crowd. They're going wild, Dave. The French and the Americans are going berserk in the stands. Rios on the inside. Oh, and Fischetti tries to set him up. He clips the buoy. And that's what made the difference. Rios now has a solid lead.
And Nicholas Rios, the 19-year-old out of Marseille, France, and his mechanic, Yves Varnet, have put together a package. They barely made it over here, and you can take a look. He's taking a beating going over those log jumps, but he's in the lead.
And the French are loving this one. Fischetti now has to pull out all the stops. He has to get back around Rios. That's all he can do. He has to win, and he has to hope that somebody else is going to get in there between him and Rios, dropping Rios down to third place.
Through the split, Fischetti goes wide again. That is the French contingent. Although you see an American flag, the French are screaming for Nicholas Rios, who made the move down the back straightaway, had the inside line, and just held the throttle on.
Fischetti had a little more top-end speed. Rios caught a wake there. Looked like Fischetti was going to hang on to it, but then Fischetti caught a bad edge there as well. Rios better positioned on the inside. Now Fischetti starts to set him up. He's going to go back underneath him, but just a hair too early. He catches that buoy, and again, that's what made the difference.
Out of the back straightaway and negotiating through traffic now. Approaching the front straightaway, Nicholas Rios. He looks back to see where Fischetti is.
And for Fischetti, the important thing now is to regroup, get back into the hunt, and get back in front of Rios. He's got to do that in order to pull up the championship. He can't let that mistake affect him in a negative way. Oh, and that's happening. He's in traffic, and McCluggage gets by Fischetti. McCluggage now into second place.
Chris McCluggage, boat number 5, 19 years old, out of Naples, Florida, aboard the Protec Yamaha Superjet, and he is racing double duty today because earlier we had the sport class competition. Right now, let's take a look at the highlights. The sport class on the 93 National Tour was won by the technical and sometimes conservative racer Tim Judge of Fort Lauderdale, Florida. But the parity of the National Tour, the addition of international talent, besides 92 class world champion Art Chambers' move from his X2 to a Wave Blaster, meant that it was anyone's world title.
The race for the crown began with a slalom competition. Jeff Freer, a local from Havasu, has been someone to take seriously for the last several years on the IJSPA Tour.
On his second run, he posted a 21.50, a time that would be good enough for second on the day. After a slalom result, he had a feeling about the world title.
Yeah, it's great starting with 0 and then starting today Sunday with, you know, all the top guys are on the line and we're all starting and we all have a chance of winning. So right now going into the to close course with the slalom, you know, taking second in slalom, I feel really good and I feel like you know, something might happen. It might be, you know. Jeez, I don't know.
Entering the slalom course as the second to last out of 9 racers was the 92 and 93 national champion Tim Judge. His second time was a respectable 21.59. It was fast, but not fast enough to better Freer's time. Tim was still in good shape, though, heading into the closed course racing.
The last man in the sport class to break the timing lines was Chris McCluggage. Chris's first run was a blistering 21 seconds flat. That time won him the slalom division at Lake Havasu. But with nothing to lose, he went for it on his second run and clocked an amazing 20.31 and set a new world record. He had a leg up on the world title.
I've already got 5 points on who I need to have 5 points on. Maybe a couple cold sports victories, and I'll definitely make a clean sweep for the day or something. I think the object's gonna be consistent. If not, I won't win.
With the slalom competition in the books, the racers were anxious to hit the close course. With 2 races and 2 opportunities to score, the top 5 knew a world title was in reach.
Race number 1 saw Judge grab the hole shot, followed by McCluggage and Freer. It looked as if Judge would make up some ground on McCluggage by winning race number 1. Then, on lap number 8, Judge's boat lost power, and Chris McCluggage took another step towards his sweep and the possibility of a world title. There was still 1 race to go, however, and Freer was in striking distance.
Race 2 had more drama than the 7th game of the World Series. Matt Alligood grabbed the hole shot, followed by Judge and McCluggage, but McCluggage spun out at the end of the back stretch, and the resulting melee left him with no throttle trigger. To continue, he had to manually pull his throttle cable.
Meanwhile, Alligood's boat broke before he completed 1 lap, and Judge took over the lead. Then in the 9th lap, this time, Tim Judge's boat let him down again.
Japanese rider Seiji Uchihashi, who trailed Judge from the start, passed and went on to win race number 2. Finishing second all day long, but ending up first in overall points, was Jeff Freer, a very deserving world champion.
Hey man, big win. I talked to you earlier, said you felt good that something was going to happen today. When you were out there and first Tim went down and then Chris, did you know the world title was yours?
I knew it from when I saw Chris, and 2 laps later, I was looking for Chris. I know that he's the only guy that can come up from way back, and I was thinking, oh, it's not yours yet, Jeff. It's not yours, Jeff. And then I lapped him, and then it was all of a sudden, okay, just ride your race and don't go fast, let the guy win, get second, be happy, get 4th, who cares? Just finish, and I'm stoked.
Overall results, Pro Sport World Championship. Top 5, Jeff Freer, Chris McCluggage, Frank Romero, Seiji Uchihashi, and Reggie Dodge. And once again, congratulations to Jeff Freer, our new world champion. Back to the action, boat number 5, Chris McCluggage, venting some of his frustrations from the Pro Sport class into this, the Pro Ski class. He is currently in second. Our leader is Nicholas Rios. 2 19-year-olds are out front, first and second. Nicholas Rios, Marseille, France. The 19-year-old has 7 European titles, 4 French titles. And he is sensing a world championship. And the French and the Belgian contingent is up in the stands cheering him on.
Last year he had the speed. This year he's got the experience. It was debatable whether or not he was going to make it. But I'd say he's probably pretty happy that he's here this year.
Lake Havasu is, I think it's a very nice place, and for the racing, for the World Finals, very nice. And for me, it's very important this racing for my future. And it's possible for me if next year I have the big budget, maybe I come to USA and practice in national tour and in the big team in USA.
That's not good news for the pros on the national tour if this man comes over. He won every event in Europe in 1993 except one. That's where he had all his relatives there, and he missed 15 buoys. Here's the man in second right now. A good effort for Chris McCluggage, and he slowing down like this is the end of the race.
What is he doing? He is, Dave. He's going down to his he thinks it's over. We still got a couple laps to go. He looks back. I don't know what he was seeing, but fortunately he caught it in time.
Well, he looked back and he saw Chris Fischetti still racing. He better get on the gas. Fischetti's in third, and a second place in this race might net him second overall.
That may have been some of that brain fade that I was talking about at the beginning of the race. We just saw an example of it there.
Now the battle for second is shaping up between McCluggage and Fischetti. Fischetti goes on the outside, McCluggage on the inside. Now they're going to meet down the back straightaway. Here comes Fischetti with some speed already.
Fischetti got the momentum down that back straightaway. Oh, he catches a couple of bad waves. That was a break. And look at McCluggage go through that turn. It's amazing. This late in the race, he's still doing leg drags. He's still riding that aggressive. I'll tell you, that kid is in shape.
White flag is out. 1 lap to go for Nicholas Rios, the 19-year-old out of Marseille, France. Trying to hold off Chris Fischetti's Chris McCluggage. He's feeling the pressure, and he goes down.
McCluggage catches an edge. Fischetti is all over him. Fischetti's on the inside now. He's got him. Fischetti back into second. Things could turn around here. If something could happen, you never know. Anything could happen here at Havasu. If Fischetti can reel in Rios, if Rios could have mechanical problems, you never know. It's not over yet, Dave.
Last lap, last race of the day. Close course racing here in the Pro-Ski World Championship. Race number 2. And McCluggage put a lot of effort into his drive. Now it looks like he's going to try to hold on for third. And it is Fischetti in second, Nicholas Rios the leader, and the checkered flag will be coming out. Here comes Rios.
And you know these grandstands are going to go wild here in just a moment, Dave.
And we have a new world order. For the first time ever, a non-American will win the Pro-Ski World Championships, and it is Nicholas Rios aboard the Jerseys Kawasaki 750. He is our new world champion in the Pro-Ski class. Here comes Chris Fischetti. Fischetti aboard the Good Times Thailand Racing Mariner Kawasaki 750 SX. And coming in third aboard the ProTech Yamaha, Chris McCluggage. And already out of the water, being paraded through the stands, is our new world champion, Nicholas Rios.
And you can see the celebration already starting. The French are going to be partying tonight. This is really history in the making.
This IJSBA sanctioned event has been brought to you by SCATTRAC, the impeller experts, and by Performance Jet Ski, world dominators in watercraft performance products. Welcome back to Lake Havasu City, Arizona, the 13th annual SCATTRAC World Finals, the World Championships in personal watercraft racing. In the history books, race results, Pro-Ski number 2. Nicholas Rios comes in first, followed by Chris Fischetti, Chris McCluggage, D.L. Wood, and Larry Hesley. And the overall results for the Pro-Ski World Championships, Nicholas Rios out of Marseille, France, our new world champion. In second, Chris Fischetti, followed by Bill Pointer Jr., Victor Sheldon, and Chris McCluggage. Right now, let's check in with Todd Harris.
I'm with the winner of Pro-Ski Modified race number 2 and the new world champion, Nicholas Rios from France. Nicholas, a huge win for you. Is this the biggest win of your career?
Yeah, this is my best souvenir, and I'm very, very happy.
A lot of pressure on you. The big question now is, are you going to compete on the national tour next year?
I don't know now because I don't know now. No comment now.
You'll wait and see. Last year you were swapping fiberglass with Chris Fischetti and a few other guys. This year, though, a dominant win from you. It was excellent to watch. What was the key for you? Was it consistency?
For this racing, the pressure is very, very big. And when I see fish pass me or the first buoys, and I thinking my racing behind, and after 2 or 3 laps, I pass fish and I go into the checkered flag, and very big time.
Congratulations, Nicholas Rios, our new world champion. Back to you guys.
Thank you, Todd. They call the young man the fighter, and he has rewritten the record books and broken the American dominance in this sport in the pro-ski class. On behalf of Todd Harris, Larry Rippenkroger, I'm David Stanfield saying so long from the SCATTRAC World Finals. Hotel accommodations furnished by the Nautical Inn Resort and Conference Center.